Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing? This is probably, let me know how loud the cauldrons are because we just put the dry ice into them and it was it was so bananas there for a second. So, and it's definitely like simmered down at this point. Let's see. Hello from, is it Bath, England? Hello. The thing is kind of far away from me, so I can't see all of the questions quite as well as I thought. Hello from Bergen, the rain capital of Norway. Hello. Good sound? Okay, good. All right, awesome. Hello, everybody. Okay, so obviously we went a little bananas with the Halloween decor going on. I got this fancy octopus like punch bowl, and it's one of my most prized items at this point. So I'm waiting to do like a maybe like a another poison punch episode with that. Hello from from Brighton, UK. Hello, Rachel. Oh my gosh. Hello from good old Ohio. Hello, is it wait, it's Caitlin. Oh my gosh. I hope you guys are having like a very fun fall on your end. The colors here have been a bummer this year. I don't know if it's the same everywhere, but just in this entire region, the fall colors were not nearly as impressive this year as it's been in like from like the past year. So we're making do with what we have. As you can see, I have some pelts of fake fur from Joanne Fabric. So we're kind of disguising like this microphone thing. And I was like, look, I'll just like hang the little furs that I'm going to be using from it. Hello from Florida. Hello, Heidi. Oh my gosh. So this is going to be a fun one, I think. It's not, there's no rules. It's literally just do whatever you feel like. And I don't really know what I'm doing, which is really, really risky. I got all of the supplies for what I've kind of thought of doing, but we're going to see what happens. And obviously, like I said in the post, if it's ridiculous and silly, it really doesn't matter. So let's see. The leaves will change as soon as it gets colder. It's getting colder. I feel like it's definitely, I don't know. It's been long enough since it was winter now that it feels like, oh, that's coming back. So it startled me a little bit when I ran out yesterday. I've got some apple cider in this cute little owl mug. Ooh. And I have the secondary camera set up so we can work and do our things. And you can see both of them. So it should be really fun. The octopus bowl is amazing. I saw it at this really fancy hotel. It's not an antique. And I was like, I have to have that. And so I like did a bunch of internet scouring and oh no, our fog kind of fizzled away. It was so nice looking. Yeah, so I'm in love with it. I've never used it before. This is the first time it's been used for anything. And I think I've had it for maybe like 8 months now. Okay. What color is this nail polish? I can tell you. It's ooh, got too close to the microphone, I can tell. It is, I've had it. I'm going to show you how like crazy I've had this for maybe like 10 years. So it's really old. And it is, hold on, I'm going to have to turn my flashlight on. Oh my gosh, I think the color's rubbed off. No, it hasn't. Maybe it has. Something. The last numbers are 63 and it's Revlon. So you can just get it at the drugstore. But it's one of my very favorites. Obviously, I've been using it forever. And I don't use nail polish enough that I like burn through it too fast. So like I said, maybe like 10 years old. So really, really old. Okay. I can tell it's Revlon. I think drugstore nail polishes are just where it's at for me. Because literally, I paint my nails right before the camera starts rolling. So they're dry now. But like when I was going to like Netflix meetings and things like that, For any meeting. I'll drive to the location and then moments before going into the building, I'm sitting in my car like painting my fingernails so they look as nice as possible. Okay, so let's see. Cute owl mugs. The captive got me these one Christmas, and I think they're from like maybe the 70s, and I love them so much. I got a whole set of them, so I've kind of sprinkled them everywhere. I want to tell the captive that our dry ice just completely went away and it was so magical looking. Okay. What? Oh, someone said, I like your brooch. This was my grandmother's brooch. My mom was so nice enough to like gift me like a good handful of my grandmother's brooches and things. So, and it's all costume. I think I've said that before. I don't think I own a single like fancy, expensive piece of jewelry. Where did you get the cool cat decoration above the fireplace? So there's one, and then I've got two over there. They're antiques. I found them at an antique store. I think last Halloween. Gosh, I can't think of the name of the antique store. It's a really, really great one. It's in Little Falls, and they're amazing. I think it's Antique Showcase. It's amazing. Oh, let's see. So what are you guys doing? I want to know what projects you guys are going to be up to. Which, by the way, if you don't want to use that hashtag, if you direct message me on either Facebook or Instagram, I will see it. I may not be able to get to everything, but I will at least look at it because I love seeing what other people come up with. So that is another route that you can share this with. I wish there was a better, like some sort of a platform that we could use that we could all submit pictures to, but I'm just not aware of a great way to do that. I was like, what if I created like a Flickr account and just gave everybody like the password and like the username, and we could all like post pictures to that website because it's like an image hosting website. I don't know. Is that a good idea? That may be something cool. I hear noises over here. Do you? It means something good. Let's see. Discord could work. Oh, hey. We're getting some more bubbles going on. What about Discord? So I've been warned about Discord. So I get nervous about, somebody told me that sometimes when you do things like that, like people can turn against you and like start getting angry at you for things. And I don't know, that doesn't sound, that worried me. So I got kind of paranoid. But I don't know. So I don't know if that's true. It just made me think like, and I've seen, you know, sometimes somebody gets irritated about something, but oh, they're all going now. Okay, now they're, okay. Let's see. Thank you, captive. People are saying thank you. He like shrugged, grunted. Okay. It looks so magical. Dry ice, I'm telling you. I found this place in Syracuse that they deliver. So the delivery man just came this morning with like a whole thing of dry ice. So we're going to be doing this the whole time, hopefully. You guys are so smart. I can't thank you enough. I've always thought because the dry ice eventually will stop reacting with the water. And I thought it was like using up something in the water. And then apparently I was wrong. If the water gets too cold, it will stop reacting. So it's hot water that will keep it going. So I didn't know that, but now everybody knows that. So are you guys excited about the Halloween episode that's going to be coming? It's the portrait one with the eyes. It's all finished filming and now it's just a matter of editing. And editing, like I've said, takes some time. So it will be coming before Halloween, and it's a good one. So someone said dry ice is how golf balls are made. Well, you learn something new every day. I can't even fathom how that works. Your fireplace looks like a vortex to Hades. Thank you. That is the vibe I'm going for. Okay, let's see. We start crafting. We've got our cider. I hope you guys have like candy and treats. Like I said, I don't really know what I'm doing, so I think I want to make a pumpkin spider, like involving polymer clay, some wires. I don't know how this is gonna look. Anytime I try to do something like quickly, you never know what you're gonna end up with. So let's see, where should I start? I guess I should start with some wires. Does the fireplace work? No, this was, so we're in the stove. That's so we're in the kitchen. This was some kind of like a fireplacey sort of, I don't know. I actually don't know. I don't have any pictures and no one's alive that can remember how it was initially used. At one point there was like a built-in stove, but that wasn't original either. Oh, let's see. Rachel said you're making spiders also. Yay. Cider, coffee, and candy. I misread coffee and I thought coffins, and I was like, ooh, you've got a coffin. Let's see. Okay. Did I miss where people said what they were making? Because I do want to see. I don't even... It's not good to start this way. I should warn you. Anytime you start doing something, you don't have even the slightest plan of what it's going to be, it's risky. Let's see. Is the captive around? I just realized I need like wire cutters and like wire twisters. And I don't know. When you're setting up, well, you are getting noisy. Do you hear this one? It feels like it's coming to, I was like, it's coming to a crescendo. There, I think it just needed to flip over or something. Okay, so let me see. I think I'm gonna have to go grab some wire clippers. So hold on one second. I'm gonna flip this over so you guys can't see me waddle out of my seat. I've got it flipped up. I've got it flipped over to here. Hold on, let me, so you guys can see. Somebody was nice enough to bring me Almond Joy, whatchamacallits, and paydays. You. Would you also by chance be able to get me some like wire clippers and twisters? This one's getting violent. It's like getting unruly. Okay, yay. So who's going to do that? Ah! I'm sitting on a stool that's really uncomfortable. So I put a pillow on it with like a fuzzy blanket. So I'm very comfortable, but I'm also very precarious. That was exactly what I was hoping for. Thank you. All right. The captive would be joining us, but we're having like a vanity delivered. And so he's going to have to step outside at some point and make sure that works out. Oh, you guys see this? So he's pouring hot water. Oh, this is so fun. And it kind of gives it like a second life. Thank you so much. Okay. Grant is very amusing. He keeps me entertained, that's for sure. Thank you. And thank you for the candy. Okay. So I'm starting my spider by creating that, like, it's the same thing. I've done spiders a few times, but I've never made a pumpkin spider. So I'm creating like a pronged sort of thing. I've never really made one like, I think this large before because I want it to be kind of big. Because I think I'm going to put like a silly fun face on it. And I'm gonna make it in like almost like candy corn colors, I think. Let's see. How did you and the captive meet? I was burying someone at a graveyard, and so was he. And we just like struck up a conversation, and we've been together ever since. Let's see. He has a Jeepers Creepers coat on. We went to an antique store and he spotted it. And I was like, so we got it. It was like, that's a Jeepers Creepers jacket. Does anyone know what kind of vehicle the Creeper drives in that? Because we were trying to figure out what that was. Because it'd be kind of cool to find one. I think I've said it before. He's the creepiest. I think he's like the worst, like, scary movie character I've ever seen. So I'm going to do 10 of these because I want to have like little feelers on it too. See how that's going. These are always very fun when there's no real pressure to like, don't anticipate being impressed by what I'm going to be able to create in this time frame, because I make no promises. Like, I'm a massively slow person when I work. So my best work, anything that you've really like your mind has been blown by that I've ever done, took me forever. So just know that. 6. Let's see. He only has to eat every 23 years. We must be talking about the creeper. What is your Halloween costume? I don't know yet. If I had time, I'm thinking, I haven't talked this over with the captive yet, which is always dangerous, but I think I want to do a big decoration project on the exterior of the house next Halloween, but it's going to require a whole lot of preparation, and it will have to happen in almost like, it'll have to like commence in August, basically, if I want to be able to pull that off and film the whole process. So that's something probably pretty big, and it'll be obviously something more interesting than I've ever done. Okay, I think I'm going to have almost just enough of this wire. Let's see. What gauge wire are you using? I don't know. I don't know. It's pasta. I would say spaghetti. It looks, if you took so that I don't know the numbers clearly, but it's about the dimension or the width of dry spaghetti. If that's helpful at all. It probably isn't. So if you go to a craft store and you bring some dry pasta with you, you'll be able to figure it out, I think. What did you put outside this year? We put out the scarecrow again, although he's closer to the house, so he's not quite as like looming and as impressive, and some pumpkins. So this year was really kind of focused on this really cool episode that's coming. And then also having Suzanne come out and making that whole thing amazing. And it was amazing. So, and I think I mentioned in the last, let me try to weave this all together now with this like smaller wire. This is what I'm using now is like, it's like Christmas wire for like hanging ornaments. It's just great for everything. One of your kittens just joined you? Oh, I love kittens, but you know what I like even more than kittens? Old, beefy cats. That's, I'm equally enamored with both of those. And I have very little like interest in like teenage cats because they're just bonkers and they don't usually have too much interest in you. Let's see. Tell us about her visit. So she came and so I had like the room all nice and made for her. We had like a chef here that made all of the meals, so we didn't have to worry about that. The initial plan was that we were going to like do a craft, but then obviously it was so involved that there really wasn't a way to do that. So I kind of prepped her so she got to see what it was going to be. Um, and now I've had to finish it without her here. But we got to, let's see, we went pumpkin patching. We went to the pumpkin patch, went to, I think, a few cemeteries. And just like, oh, we had a seance in the middle of the night. I didn't even say anything. We used a crystal ball and we used a Ouija board that's an antique. It was very, very fun. Let's see. You would look good in a 1946 Cadillac hearse. I would love an antique hearse. I don't know where I'd put it, but it would be really fun, I think. Okay. Doesn't this look like it's never going to be anything? Let me look at this. It just looks like a warbly mess. Okay. Someone said hearses are way too much upkeep. I wonder what the upkeep is. Okay, so now I need to stabilize this, and that's what I'm doing with that. I called it Christmas wire, but I don't actually know what it is. It's green wire. You basically just want to create like a bundle in the middle. Are you going to work on the carriage house in 2022? So one big thing, not really is the answer, but it's bulging in a place that isn't good. And so I think we are going to have somebody come out and see if that can't be, I don't know what the mechanism is. The captive knows better than I do, but some sort of like they need to put suspension, some things in there. I'm using words, I don't know, suspension, if that's applies. They're basically going to have to like bolt in strings and pull it back into place, I think. So stabilizing the carriage house is a priority, which will probably be happening next year. And I'll show you like what we do with that. Because obviously you want that carriage house to be around forever. Okay, what is happening here? I find if you twist this around enough, eventually it starts to cooperate. Ooh. Project request, ghost ship in a bottle. That sounds incredible and very hard, but it would be neat. I love that. Isn't there a movie called Ghost Ship with Juliana Margulies? It's really good and gross. Have you seen any spooky spiders? I'm going to tell you, and I don't want to jinx myself. This area seems to be a dud for terrifying spiders. The mountain house? There were spiders everywhere. There was a wolf spider almost every time you picked anything up. If you went and walked around like the forest at all, like there would be like a wolf spider crawling over your toes. And like, I'm not joking. At the California house, when you picked up like a pillow, you had to like make sure there wasn't. Sometimes I'd just be laying in bed and up on the wall, I would see like the shadow coming across and it was like a good sized wolf spider running around. So no, there's not really too many bugs around here. I don't know why. There's lots of remnants of bugs having been here before, but I think they have all since died. West Coast spiders aren't shy. They never were. Growing up, I grew up in like Highland, which is San Bernardino County. We had the juiciest looking black widows you've ever seen. Sometimes their little abdomen would get as big as like a grape, a small grape, but they were huge. And they're They're not really, spiders just want to get away from you. They're not like a wasp that really wants to like mess you up. I don't like wasps. It's like the one living thing that I'm like, I don't really care about you so much. Okay. So now I'm going to squash this down. Now that it's starting to take shape. This is going to be a good sized spider, I think. Ah, it looks like the captive is back to replenish our dry ice. Oh my gosh, someone said mosquitoes. The mosquitoes here are horrid. Like, and I don't know. We got like this, some sort of thing that was supposed to like suck them in gently and like keep them in this cage until they starved to death or something. And then I started feeling bad because moths were getting in there too. And I got upset and I like unplugged it. But the mosquitoes will try to eat you alive around here. Okay. I think that's feeling good. Hey, thank you. Isn't this nice of him? Let's see, dragonflies will take care of mosquitoes. Can you go buy like a herd of dragonflies somewhere? I'm immune to mosquitoes. Well, how nice for you. My mom and I were just going over like we did that like 23andMe thing. And you could see that like I'm prone to mosquitoes liking me a lot. So I think the water is too, let me try to, it's really cold. So we're figuring out, let's see, what are we making? So I'm making a weird spider, a pumpkin spider. Be careful with the CO2 around the pets. Yes, the captive put all of our pets upstairs because it's not, I think it does something. It can kill you if you're not careful. So we've got an open window over here. Hopefully that's enough. I asked the captive, I was like, how do you know? That just scared me so bad. What's happening over there? Oh my gosh. This thing just popped and it almost like stopped my heart. I have a great fear. Let's see. Please don't put your finger in the bowl with the dry ice. Okay, I won't do that. Let's see. So I keep losing where the front and the back is. Okay. I'm going to start bending these up a little bit. I'm going to flip this over so you can see. So I think what I'm going to do, ooh, well, that's going to do it. Oh, wait, you guys can't see what he's doing. He's adding some warm water. Okay. do here. So now I'm going to start fiddling with the polymer clay. Captive, would you be so kind as to turn the oven up to, I think it was like 320 or something like that? Because you have to bake the polymer clay. First thing I want to do has anyone started posting their progress on Instagram? Because if they are, I will check that out while we're doing this. And like I said, if you're working on a project, I'm going to try to create like a composite or like a multi-picture thing. And I'll like, if you put your Instagram handle on there, and I'll take a picture of it and it'll all be in there and I'll tag you in it. Oh my gosh, I'm carving a pumpkin for the first time in my life. How is that possible? I know Halloween is allegedly not as bonkers in other countries. Is that? I don't understand that. It's always, I don't know. It's just the most wonderful holiday I can think of. Okay. So the first thing we want to do here because I'm going to be making something, baking it, and then affixing it to the spider. But I don't want to have to like manipulate around the spider while I do that. So I'm creating these little prongy sort of things. Flip this over so you can see. I'm basically just twisting up some aluminum foil around the wire in such a way. And you kind of see what I'm doing there? You've got like, I don't know if you can see that very well. Over there. Okay, and I think, what is your go-to glue you use? I am really partial. I love the Gorilla Glue in the 2-part epoxy, which I don't know if 2-part epoxy counts as glue. But if you want something to hold and like never come undone, that's a really good way to do it. It takes a while to dry, but let's see. Halloween has been on the decline across the US. Really? I have not personally seen that to be true, but it doesn't mean it isn't. I feel like it just seems like it's ramped up more and more. Maybe not necessarily like the handing out of candy, which to me is sort of like a very fun thing, but not really like the base of Halloween in my mind. It's about like the movies and the candy and decorating and pumpkins and the leaves changing and all of that. Okay. So by the way, my nail polish is gonna kind of take a beating here in a second once I start working with this clay. All right. So let's start. So basically what I've done is, let me flip this over. So I've created a ball so it's not, I don't have to use a lot of clay and it should bake pretty quickly, but it's still gonna like bulk it up. By the way, I had the camera switched over and I was like still talking to the camera like as if anybody could see me, which they could not. So this is the clay that I mixed in last year's pumpkin carving live stream. I keep everything. I'm kind of a pack rat. And I always feel like if I haven't used something up, there's always going to be like scraps of fabric. I'm the worst about keeping because I'm like, there's going to be some reason I need this later on. And there rarely is. And when it does come up, I can't find the thing that I've saved. So, but this time I did. Are you using air dry clay? No, this is polymer clay that you have to bake. And I've never used air dry clay. I would like to experiment with that. How quickly does it dry or set? Let's see. Okay. So basically what I'm doing now is I'm creating like a skin. I'm kind of trying to stretch it out. I want to use as little polymer clay as I possibly can for a couple of reasons. It'll weigh a lot less and it'll bake super fast. So I won't have to like wait very long. Let's see. So this is going to be like the butt of the spider. I am going to need some more of this. These things keep making noises and things that startle me. Okay, I'm seeing Instagram notices. If you guys don't mind, I'm going to take a peek at what's happening. Ooh. Natalie Ann, I love your little, it looks like is that fresh? I think I've seen those. That's so beautiful. I'm gonna like that. I love that. Okay, fun. Okay, Rachel, I see what you're doing with your, let me see if I can't. I don't think you guys can see that. But it looks like fun things are happening. They're faux floral. That's so great. I mean, I really, really love real flowers, but I can't keep them alive. And the fake ones, it's like you create this beautiful thing and then it stays looking nice. That thing. Oh, I see what's happening. We've got like an iceberg. Can you guys see that thing floating around? It reminds me of, it wasn't Tales from the Crypt. It was some show. What? Creep Show? I think it was Creep Show. The one where there's like multiple stories. It was like in the 80s or 90s. And there's these like teenagers that swim out to like a raft. And this like weird murky blob sort of like comes near them. And it gets all of them. It's like something bad. Okay. The oil slick in the water. That's the one. It's Creep Show 2. I loved the one about the old lady and it's like her birthday cake. And like her head is in something. It's a husband's birthday. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's Creep Show also. I wish they would make more of like that kind of, I know that they redid something I like couldn't quite get into it for some reason. Let's see. What's the Instagram hashtag? It's creating with Christine. And I will be checking everybody's anyone who posts to that, I will see it. Oh, so they redid Creepshow for Shudder and it was good. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So you guys can see that got like a nice little pumpkin. And now I have to start shaping it. I think I'm going to use one more thin coat of this stuff. I'm an absolute serial killer of indoor plants. I just, it's the maintenance. I'm terrible at maintaining things that I don't see all the time. So I love organizing things. My mom and I were talking about this. We could organize all day long and you make things look so beautiful. And then that's it. You just walk away from it and hope that it can keep itself organized, which it never does. Let's see. Okay, so I'm adding one more extra skin on here so I can like sculpt that pumpkin shape really nice. Again, I'm trying to make this as nice as possible, but I have no idea what we're going to end up with when this is over. A little more right there. Okay. How often do you go to antique stores? Pretty often, I would say. Enough that sometimes, like, nothing is more fun than going to an antique store you've never been in before because there's all new things to see. Sometimes you see all of the same things over and over again. And then I have a number of antique stores here that have like a high turnover, so you're constantly seeing new things. That's a really great thing. Are you a fan of the movie House of Wax? 100%. Any horror movie I'm going to love. Oh my gosh. Do you guys want the best tip ever? There's a movie called The Night House. It's on Amazon. You can rent it. I don't want to talk it up too much, but it was different and really, really, really good. So write that down. The Night House on Amazon. It's spooky and really, they do something like unusual and new and different in it. Okay, so now that I've got kind of a ball, pumpkins grow like obviously on the ground, so they're not like perfect balls or anything like that. And I'll just flip this over so you can see. Oh no, I'm stuck to the thing. That's kind of what that's looking like. And the heat from your hands can kind of smooth these out really nicely. Let's see. What scent is your candle? I've got a Yankee candle and it's pumpkin banana scone. Scone, I think it's actually supposed to be pronounced. Okay, so now I'm looking for sculpting tools. And I'm going to start making pumpkin grooves into this thing. This is a pretty simple thing to do. I was thinking that I should have some like Halloween music or something like that on. And then I thought music is such a funny thing that like people are very sensitive to. And I'm personally like this, like you don't necessarily want to listen to what someone else really enjoys listening to. And so if you guys want to have spooky Halloween music on your end, please by all means do that. Sounds like bats in the background. You're probably hearing the dry ice. It's making a good amount of a ruckus. And I'm just sculpting in those grooves of a pumpkin. Like I said, this is probably going to look kind of silly. It's starting to look like something, I think. I'm working on it still. It's got a ways to go. Favorite Halloween tradition of yours? Probably the movies. I'm such a lover of movies and I don't know, the atmosphere of like having pumpkins around, watching movies, eating candy. I would say that is really kind of where I have the most happiness. Okay, I'm trying to make this thing look as realistic as possible, but there's a big difference between, crafting in private when nobody's watching and you have lots of time and you're not really paying attention to how much time it's taking. As opposed to like, obviously you guys don't want to watch like an 8 or 10 hour video of me sculpting something silly. Okay, so I'm just making these grooves a little bit deeper. Have you made soul cakes? I've never heard of that, so I don't know what that is. I'm so excited for you guys to see the episode that's coming up because I don't want to give away too much about it, but it just came out really, really, really neat. And I'm really, really proud of it. And it's one of my favorites that I've ever done. trying to read comments while I smooth this out. And I think the dry ice has calmed down, which is kind of nice. I think it was a little bonkers there for a moment. Right before the live stream started, the captive came in here and put them in, and it was like an explosion of dry ice everywhere. So I was like, that's really fun, but I think that might be too much. Okay, let's see. Sometimes you make something that like looks really good from like one side and is kind of really terrible on another side. And so this might be one of those that like I focus on a good side of it. Because like I said, I don't want to spend an eternity fiddling. And I'm actually finding this is the first time I think I've ever sculpted a pumpkin. It's a little bit trickier than I thought. What is your view on fog machines? Didn't you see the photography episode? I'm in love with fog machines. I think they're the best invention next to like penicillin. I'm trying to think. What are my favorite Halloween movies? What did we just watch last night? We've been like watching a movie every night, which is really fun. We have this like system of whenever you're working on one of these episodes, which is all the time, it's all we do, is you wake up, you have like your coffee in the morning, and then you just start working. And I have to get made up every day for that, which is, I was just telling the captive, I love doing this work. It is the most fun thing on earth. I get really paranoid about being on camera as much as I have to be. It's not, I loved, but I do think it makes a better product, if that makes sense. I feel like these episodes that I've been making are really, I enjoy seeing them again. So I think it's worth it in that regard. But the actual aspect of like getting made up every day and like making sure the camera and the lights all make you look nice, because it's kind of like an Indiana Jones Temple of Doom where like out of like everywhere you look, there's something trying to make you look terrible. So having to focus on making sure you look decent is very frustrating. I shouldn't say frustrating, it's exhausting. That's what it is. I should have started this whole career looking like the witch from Snow White. And that would have been such an easier costume to throw together. Okay. So my pumpkin's actually looking kind of good. Let me flip this over so you can see how that's starting to look. I don't know if you can see very well. I feel like that's actually starting to look kind of like a pumpkin. Switch that back over. So this technique is working really, really good. So if you have some sort of sharp, I'm trying to think maybe like a letter opener or a butter knife for making this technique if you want to do that at some point. It was better than trying to like put like a blunt instrument right in there, because it's creating something that I think looks more consistent. And it's looking really pumpkin-y. Let me see if I can't use like a ball tip to smooth it out a little. Can you show us from above? Yes. And I think this thing is allegedly supposed to autofocus. So can you guys see that? It's kind of looking sort of good. It's got a ways to go. Okay. Taking one of these little ball things to sort of round that just a little bit more. I should have called my mother-in-law because she's sculpted with polymer clay for years and she's a great artist with it. And I've seen her make pumpkins, and I bet she could have given me some good advice on how to do this. And so I'm picturing like this will be like the behind, and then you have legs and maybe like a cute face. If I have time to make a cute face, I should say. Okay. Because this can't go on all day, I think I'm going to have to say that's good enough, which I'm not usually prone to do. I like to fiddle with things until they're obscenely perfect. Okay, I've got a baking dish and I've got aluminum foil. Let's see, I'll flip this camera so you can see. I'm just going to drop that right there. And I'm going to go pop this in the oven, so I'll be right back. All right, I'm coming back. Okay. I'm doing all of the wobbling off camera. Okay. We had to actually move the camera a little because the oven door wouldn't open. It's like kind of right backed up against it. Okay. So while that bakes, I'm going to start making something else. If you guys have any questions, I will try to glance over and answer any questions. See, so inflatable holiday decorations, I love them when I see them. I am of the feeling that any Halloween decoration I'm going to think is like super fun. Even if it's sort of like silly or playful, I just tend to like all of it. Okay. I think what I'm going to do here is build this up out of a brown clay. How do you make the shell lamps? Are we talking about the ones right behind me? I didn't make them. I bought them. And they're like reproduction sort of somethings. Um, and they're almost impossible to find on the internet because I've wanted more of them and I just can never find them. So if you find one, hold on to it, never sell it because everyone else will want it. How do you get your ponytail not to drop? So how do I do that? It's a technique. For one, I have an extension in, so you should know that right off the bat. And it's an extension that like is only about that wide and it clips in like right here at the base. And then I part all of this of my hair and pull it forward and clip it. And then I pull all of that up into one gigantic ponytail and I like fasten it with like one of those. You can use an elastic, but I like those. It's like just a band of elastic with two hooks on the ends. So I get that up and I shape it and make sure it like looks as fun as it possibly can. And then I sort of sweep back the top of my hair so it's like got body to it, and use a very soft elastic to like hold that in place. And what this accomplishes is no headaches. So you can wear like a big crazy ponytail and it's not going to give you some horrendous headache. How do you stay so fit? I don't exercise other than constantly running around doing this, but I do the plant-based thing and I'm telling you right now, there's nothing, I've never ever done anything that was so easy to keep my weight where I wanted it. Will you be passing out candy to trick-or-treaters this year? Yes. And we've got a whole bunch of like the full size candy bars. So I hope people show up, but I am going to like wear like a mask just in case, because I don't want to get breakthrough COVID, even though I've been vaccinated. So I'm going to try to incorporate a face mask into whatever getup I get dressed up as. Can you share some of your style inspirations? Pretty much all of the characters in Edward Scissorhands. Those are my, that's who I look up to as far as like beauty standards and ideals. What movie scares you the most? It's called The Strangers. It's with Liv Tyler, Scott Speedman, and it's horrifying. It's really, it's kind of like too scary. And it's based on kind of a true story about these, it's called the Ketty murders that happened at these cabins in California, I think. So now I'm taking my little legs and I'm adding a little dollop of clay right there to the center. This is kind of like the ornaments we made for our Christmas episode last year. Have you made it to the Sleepy Hollow town? Not since we moved here, but I've been there and I love it. We are going to visit Salem, which is really fun. I think just before Halloween is like, we're going this year. So it should be really fun. So if there's anything I should check out in Salem, please let me know. It's my favorite. The Captive's never been. What is your favorite thing to bake for this season? I love oatmeal raisin cookies. I don't know if that really sounds seasonally appropriate, but You just, honestly, you can't go wrong with an oatmeal raisin cookie. In my mind, at least. Okay. So now that I've got this going, let's start figuring out the length that we're going to bend these at. The House of the Seven Gables. Okay, nice. You guys know that they're filming Hocus Pocus 2? Probably, I think like right now it's happening in Providence, Rhode Island. That's all I know about it. And I just, of all of the things that I'm excited about in life, that might be just about the top. I'm not even worried about like if it's going to be amazing. I know it's going to be amazing. Oh, is that news to some people? How exciting is that? They just need to make more Halloween movies. There need to be, I don't know. They're the best thing. They make me so happy. Let's see if I can't get that notch a little tighter. Your buddy is going to be an extra. I am jealous. Does anyone have a favorite Sanderson witch? I don't know if I could pick. I mean, obviously, I want to say Winifred is my #1 favorite, but I really, really love the other two. We just watched The Thing last weekend. That's a terrifying movie. It's so good, and Kurt Russell is so hot. He's like a unicorn. He's so beautiful. Okay, so I'm just like making the legs bend. This thing's gonna be kind of big. Oh, I should probably drink a little bit more cider. I'm watching The Bates Motel. I love the original Psycho. That's just a fantastic movie. And these little feetsies. I love like posing spiders. It's like one of my very favorite things. Because they're so terrifying looking when you get them like good. I'm like really struggling on like remembering where the back is. So you said, have I seen North and South? I haven't. Is that a series or a movie? So the answer is no, I haven't. Oh, hi, Poof. I guess you've gotten down somehow. I don't think you were supposed to come down. You can always tell when Poof has entered the room because you hear this weird snort, like I can't do it. He's very funny. Oh, he's fascinated with the open window. He has yet to understand what the outside is. I think I've mentioned that, like, my little goofball werewolf is like constantly trying to kill herself with the banister. We tried letting her out. Um, we have to figure out something with that banister. Do I have too many legs here? No. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I think I made too many. Hold on. 1, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm counting wrong. There we go. I'm very bad at math. I think I've said that before. Okay, I want little feelers, but they definitely don't need to be that long. So I'm going to clip them. You can see, I'm going to clip those off maybe. I don't want to make them too short. It's always good to just cut a little bit if you're going to make some big change, because it's never fun if you've gone too far and then you don't have enough of what you needed. I don't know if you guys can hear the clock going, but I could just listen to that all day long. Maybe instead of feelers, I want fangs. That might look a little cuter. I'm kind of going for cute here and not necessarily so terrifying. Although, you know, check back in with me when this is done, because I'm just going to kind of go with however this turns out. That should look spooky, I think. Did you make the old-fashioned cat behind you? No, it's an antique Halloween prop. Let's see, this is looking pretty good, I think. I'm gonna make sure those feet bend out and just bend them down as much as you need to. And I need to remember that, you know, a pumpkin's gonna go on the back here, so I don't think you want it to come too far off the ground. These are one of those things, they're just wonky looking until you get it right. And then it starts looking like something and you feel very accomplished. I didn't set a timer without the pumpkin. Like I'm like starting to smell a little bit of a clay baking smell, so. This is like a monster version, very, very large, of Christmas ornament spider. Which, by the way, I should forewarn you, I was thinking the other day, you're probably going to see me repeat some projects over time, just because there are some things that I just love doing, and like you can always get better at everything. So sometimes I'll have like a better idea of how to do something, or sometimes something is just so fun. I think over the lifespan of however long Patreon goes, I am probably going to end up making like 1,000,000 lampshades, because that's a really fun thing I can't believe I haven't tackled yet. Okay, those feelers don't need to be that long because they're kind of too long. Is that even? No, that feels kind of right. See what's happening here. So my plan here is to get that pumpkin out and then like affix it before I start like building more on here. But I want this to be pretty close to the shape that I want it to be. Are you guys having fun or is this putting you to sleep? Okay. I think maybe I should check on that pumpkin and see if I can't get it out and cool it down. Okay, so I'm going to switch this over. I'm going to pause this actually. It's not going to be paused, but you just won't see things from my end for a moment. Okay, I'm back. I'm glad I muted that for a second because that took me a second to get this out of here. And now I want to magically cool this off. I don't know how realistic that is. Marie said it is so nice to have someone to craft along with. That makes me happy. It is very fun if you have like a friend or it's just somebody to chat with while you do it because it does make it more enjoyable for some reason. Do you like Wes Anderson films? I totally do. I love the Grand Budapest Hotel. I'm trying to think if that's my favorite. I feel like there was another one that I really, really liked and I can't remember the name of. Is writing another book on your mind? I don't know. I would love to physically just have one appear without having to do all of the craziness that's involved with making it. Things would have to be much more calm with what I'm doing now. So. What does a whatchamacallit even taste like? We don't have them. So I like how I just said, I'm plant-based pretty much all the time, but not really when it comes to Halloween candy. So I don't really pay attention to what's going on in there. So whatchamacallit is, I think it's got like a pop crackle, chocolate caramel. Let's find out. It's like a Nestle's Crunch with a very thin layer of caramel. Maybe, I don't know, that has caramel. made with chocolate, peanut butter, flavored crisps, and caramel. That's pretty tasty. I have to wash that down. Will you be doing any more contests? Inviting patrons. So I mentioned this in the last one, and I think I'm going to do it because I think it sounds like such a fun idea. I mentioned this just in the last live stream we did. It was stressful making sure the house was all perfect and doing all of that stuff. And the captive had the idea to do a contest maybe next year where I find a cool destination and fly whoever wins, a patron, obviously, to that location. And then obviously, like, it will be all expenses will be covered. And then you'll also be given like funds to like enjoy yourself. So it's not in any way stressful. And then we'll like hang out and do some stuff in that location, but you'll be able to bring somebody. And it should be really fun, but it'll be a vacation for me. It'll be a vacation for you. I'm going to bring my mom because she's just like the best person to bring around. And we could go anywhere. Honestly, we could go to France. We could go to Canada. We could go to Salem. Really, it would kind of depend. I'm not entirely sure of how I'll arrange it because obviously, wherever you are in the world, I don't know that every person is able to go anywhere, everywhere. So obviously, it'll sort of depend on who wins and where they want to go. So maybe what I'll do is I'll map out a number of possibilities, and then whoever wins gets to pick where we're going. And then we get to go on like a fun. How fun does that sound? Because I got to tell you, it sounds amazing to me. So it's fun for everyone. And the captive gets to just like hide in his little cave and be quiet. Annie, I see your comment. She said Christine says in the email that she'll be eating her body weight in candy. And then she just takes a bite of a candy bar. It felt like a lot. Okay, this is cooling down a little bit. Still pretty hot. Polymer clay, once you've baked it and it cools, it's rock solid pretty much. But before then, if it's still warm, it's still kind of pliable and you don't really want that. Leap Castle, Ireland. Maybe. So what we should do is, and this will be next year, hopefully COVID will have fizzled. I'm praying, but you never know. And I'm trying to think, maybe we'll make a list, compile a list of possible places to go. And then you guys will vote on what your favorites sound like. I'm partial to like England. I've only been once. I've only really been to like London, and that's my international travel history. But it was so magical that I loved it. So that's going to be on there. We'll figure out something really, really fun. But wherever those locations end up being, they will be amazing and spooky. The nice thing about Europe is they have all of these old buildings. Obviously, their history goes back so much further. And they have these Gothic castles that I think lots of people like make it so that you can stay at some. This is all coming from someone who's not over there. So I'm just like going off of what I've seen on YouTube. But that would be really fun, I think. Croatia for the old ruins. A good girlfriend of mine went there and she loved it. So, okay, this is feeling possibly good enough to affix. We're going to find out right now. Look at that. Can you see that? Let me see. So it's already starting to look like something. It's like a very hot something, though. I should warn you. Okay, so I think what I want to do because I'm gonna have to, ooh, it's like piping hot. I'm gonna have to bend that wire just like that. And then maybe make a little stand so we can, and I'll remove, so I'm creating, I should show how I did that. So it had those two prongs, and then I folded the two prongs over, and then I bent them down so it can still stand up at this height, but it has like a weight or a stand right here. So all of that weight isn't floating, and that will hold up until we'll clip that off when it's over. So now we've got a fun, really scary looking spider, I think. Look at you, you're so cute. Sure. Okay, that's feeling good to me. So now we can build up all of the fun stuff. I don't know if I'm going to have room on this to make like a cute happy face, but we'll see. Oh, and I'm just going to make these with the brown. We've been going for an hour and a half, and it's felt like 15 minutes to me. So I think the very first live stream craft along we did was a Christmas cookie, and I swear I thought it went for like 8 hours or something. It was brutal. It was there's like a distance you can go where it's like fun, and then it's like, I've got to finish this thing. I've got to keep going. But it was exciting. This is not going to be 8 hours. But we'll see how long it takes to make this thing look fun. So now I'm just doing the same thing I did in that Christmas ornament episode, where I'm taking like a noodle of this clay and going around the legs. Oh, Meg, you said you loved the Christmas cookie episode. Oh, that makes me happy. I'll tell you something funny about that episode. I'm wearing a dress that I think Sarah Jessica Parker wore in Sex and the City. I got it at like a antique store, like a thrift store, and somehow I know somebody involved in that show, and it sounds like it might have been that dress, so I don't know. Oh my gosh, your home is over 200 years old. Yes, it was a patron who told me that it was Sarah Jessica Parker's dress. And I was like, what? And I looked it up, and sure enough, and then I checked with my friend, and it sounds like it was probably the dress, because I think it was like a handmade one of a kind. So when you go to antique stores, you never know what you're picking up. I think it was up until Debbie Reynolds, like they used to just like do horrible, horrible things with like these costumes from these old movies and things. And it was horrendous, the fates that were in store for so many like classic pieces. And now there's just like this massive, market of people that collect things. Okay, I think I'm gonna like roll this out. This is kind of fun. I'm past the part where I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work out. Let's see what happens. And now I'm to the part where I feel like this is gonna be neat. You know, our dry ice has completely tanked. Let me do something. So what my plan is because the water needs to be like swapped out. If you guys don't mind, I'm going to keep fiddling with this. I'm going to mute and take the screen away, and I'm going to have the captive refresh the water if he answers my call. So we'll find out. So you'll see me back in just a moment. I think this seems a little bit more fun. Can you believe how much this is? Now watch this. Dry ice. It's the best thing on earth. Still working at these legs. I sound like a robot. Oh no. It might be the sound. Once these simmer down, it should probably get better. They're very bubbly. Getting there slowly. Just a few more legs to go. It makes my voice sound all spooky. Well, I'll try to talk a little bit more then. Okay. Do you guys have any questions? I'm happy to answer any. Oh, something weird. The handing out candy here in Ilion is on a Saturday. So it's like on the 30th. It's the day before Halloween. I've never had that happen before. Or I've never been anywhere where like they handed out candy on a day that wasn't Halloween. So that will be something new. Saturday night is a really fun night to hand out candy because none of the parents have to be like somewhere the next day or something. What are the best tools for a beginning crafter to have? That might be too broad. It really depends on what you're getting into. Let's see. Did you do annual gifts this year? Yes, they are currently being created and they're really cool. I'll show you guys. I will be opening up the top two tiers at the first of the year for 2022, just so you guys know. I've seen that a lot. Let's see. Did you do art crafts projects when you were little? I did actually. I once had a dream. I must have been like 12, maybe younger, of like a weird spooky house that I had in a dream. And when I woke up, I was like, I have to make that. And so my mom went and got me like, I think some like construction paper, and I like actually built this like dream house that I had from my dream. It was like a strange place in the mountains. And so I built it and it was really fun. And then I got mad at it at some point. Something happened. I got frustrated and I squashed it. So that's something I've gotten better at as an adult, but it's never like you, I don't know if maybe any like artists, like any artist would do that, but you do tend to like get upset about things. Like your reaction can, I've gotten better, but not totally. I still can get upset about stuff. Let's see. Oh, when will the higher tiers be available again? January 1st, I think. And that will be for the following year. Did you and Suzanne have the cocktails you had spoken about? Yes, we did. I went and bought, I don't really drink alcohol, so I will on occasion, but usually I end up on the floor very quickly. So we did have some drinks and I made mocktails for myself, but it was very fun. Luckily, she knows what she's doing because I'm not terribly knowledgeable about mixing drinks. So she was doing kind of all of the heavy lifting on that front. Which, by the way, also I should mention, she might be watching this. One of my favorite people I've ever met. It wasn't even, I feel like I just made like an amazing new friend. I told the captive after she left, I was like, well, we're just going to have her back for like no reason at all. She was so fun and funny, and we just liked all of the same things. And so I need to text her. I haven't sent her the pictures. We took a bunch of pictures. But she was fantastic, and it was just an absolute blast. This thing's getting kind of beefy. What was the mocktail? I think I had a virgin margarita, which isn't terribly like elegant or fancy, but it was delicious. Is she featured on the next episode? Yes, she is. So you'll be seeing that. Some people you feel as if you've known them for years. Totally. It was like that. It was effortless, just perfectly fun and wonderful. And there wasn't like a dull moment. And she lives close. She does. What are the odds of that? I was expecting somebody to come from like, I didn't know where. Oh my God, why would you say that? She said, be right back, putting garlic bread in the oven. I do have a weakness for freshly baked garlic bread. It is amazing. Did you guys ever go to like steak? When I was little, we'd go to like steak houses or something, and there would be something called Texas toast. And it was some sort of, I'm sure it was terrible for you. So good. It was like really buttery. Oh, hi. Do we need more dry ice? He's scary right now. This outfit is like terrifying me. Thank you so much. What kind of projects does the captive get into? Well, music is his number one hobby. He's always in there like making beautiful sounds, and I love it. It's been it's actually been like that the entire time we've been together. Before he was making music for like what we were doing, he would just like fiddle with instruments and make music that I just loved listening to. So you'd hear it off in like another room. And it's always been so wonderful. And then something he's been doing lately that's really fun is he got like remote control cars, like the silly kind for kids. And he goes outside in the yard with them, and Gertie like goes bonkers, like completely like chasing after them, trying to bite them. She's having like so much fun. And so that's been something he's been getting into lately. Mhm. Let's see. If you had to make a career change, what would you do? I would be heartbroken if I couldn't do art anymore. Um, I'm kind of bad at everything else. Let me think. What would I do? Does house, does architecture? Is that, I don't really do architecture. I would really, really love to like design houses and have them built. I'm very irked as I've become an adult and realized that like not every house is built with like secret passageways, and I just don't, I feel I feel lied to. Growing up, like all of the shows you watched, like they had secret passageways and trap doors, and it would be really fun to like build houses with all of that kind of fun stuff going on inside. Now again, to become an architect and build buildings, I think, oh, someone said you would be a fantastic vet. I think I would be a horrible vet. I, it's getting very loud. It's coming to a crescendo. We're gonna let it. Is it done? Almost there. Um, I I get too upset about animal stuff. So I don't think I would be a good vet because I would internalize the sad parts of that job like way too much, I think. Would you ever live in a pink house? I don't think so. I love pink, but you can also get sick of pink if it's too much. Oh, you would like Pamela wants to see a video of Gertie playing Chasing of the Car. It's in the coming episode, so you'll get to see a little bit of that. Let's see if I can't make these look a little bit smoother. You can do a house for cats, a rehabilitation and adoption center. I would love that. That would be, I've said before, and I was telling my mom, cats are the most wonderful thing I think that the universe has to offer. I know that sounds kind of silly, and I've probably like had toxoplasmosis since I was a child or something, but I grew up with cats. They're my very favorite creature that I've ever come up. You have to like earn their love. They're kind of fun. They're obviously all individuals, and they're amazing. I don't have enough nice things to say about cats. And whenever somebody says they don't like cats, like my eyes become slits, and I'm like, I don't know if I should trust them. Obviously, some people are very allergic to cats. I'm allergic to cats, actually. I just tolerate it. I think you kind of get used to it after a while. I'm sure it also depends on the severity of your allergy. Geez, these things are trying to give me a heart attack. I do think what we did with someone said fostering is so important with kitties. I I think I will always go to the vet now and get like an old kitty because I mean it's really really worked out with Archimedes and I love him so much. He's one of my favorite cats I've ever had. Okay, this is getting close and it's looking spooky. I have an all black cat that's been visiting every day since October 1st. I don't know. I love cat. I love when strange cats come up and want to get to know you. Dry ice goes through a lot of like funny stages. If you guys see me like get dizzy and like pass out, you should probably call 911 for me. Ooh, irony. I like your input on that. Yeah, cats are funny. You really like they're not like dogs. Dogs like generally, not all dogs. Obviously, every living creature is an absolute individual and they you can you can't really stereotype any of them because they all can be different. But as a general rule, dogs are very just like they love anybody, and a cat is just so particular about who they will bond with. I always thought it was fun with Mr. Biggles because when you had people come over, he like there were certain people he would just get so excited about. It was like he had some sort of something that like he would certain people, so you never knew what his reaction was going to be to somebody. And sometimes he just fell in love with people. I don't know how perfect this needs to look. Probably not too perfect. I'm going to be that's right. Okay. Oh my gosh, you have a 20-year-old kitty? You rescued him on vacation in Florida? I love it. Okay. That's feeling pretty good to me. Oh, I forgot about his little feelers. Have you had any more ghostly encounters? Not really, and it's annoying. Although I do think what happens is you won't feel like anything's happening, and then something when you're just not paying attention will be like, that was weird. So I don't know. I do. Somebody said something in the live stream where I was talking about that accident I almost had with that power tool. It almost took this finger off. And somebody said the the ghosts in the house might have been protecting you. And it reminded me of a story that I've heard about when we moved in here. Someone told us her name was Elvira Ann Dreisler, something like that. And she was the one who ran it as a bed and breakfast with her husband. And she told a story about she was once walking down the stairs here and she like lost her balance or something happened and she started to fall and she felt something stop her from falling. And she just believed that she was being protected ever since that moment. And the the thing that happened with me with that Dremel tool, I I couldn't believe I wasn't hurt. I couldn't believe it hadn't. I thought I was going to pull that glove off and I was going to have like a mangled stump left. And so the fact that it didn't happen, I don't know, kind of weird. So make of that what you will. I think I choose to believe that it might have been like a ghost that was like, well, we need those hands to restore this place. So maybe don't throw them away for a dress form. Oh, you have to go to sleep. Good night and watch the end of this and hopefully it will look like something neat tomorrow. Ooh. Back in the 80s, your sister worked for a catering company and worked at your house once. That's exciting. An artist local to this house just did a painting of the house. I saw it online last night and it's awesome. I think if you go into like the people that have tagged me on Instagram, you'll see it. It's really, let me make sure it's there before I start saying it's there. It was so beautiful. And she's local to the area, so she's not too far away. Oh, it is there. Let me show you. I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me see. I don't think you guys can see that. Okay. Well, her name is Retro Sorrento. And it's amazing. I was like blown away by it when I saw it. Oh, you guys like the way that the spider is turning out? Okay, fun. It takes a whole lot of fiddling before they start to look like something you're proud of. But then they do eventually, hopefully. And then it gets very exciting. Okay. Let's switch that over. Can you guys sort of see? I don't know if it just looks like a wonky little monster. But it is looking fun. Now I'm going to try to make some eyeballs. It might look silly though, so I'm not entirely sure yet. Are you able to read all of these comments when you finish? I do very often go back and like try to, you know what I wish a feature that this had would be so fantastic is if I could reply to individual comments in this thread that happens, and there isn't, as far as I know, a way to do that, but it would be amazing if it did. I think those little eyeballs I just put in are going to work. Okay, now we're going to see if I can get in here. I'm trying to give it like a cute expression with like a little brow. Okay, it started to do something really cute, and I'm happy with it. You're back with the garlic bread. Oh, can I have a piece? It's so good right now. I've got to do little fangs now. We have somebody here. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Is this the last of our dry ice? I think this might be the end of our dry ice fun. Here, I'm trying to make a cute little face. I don't know if you guys can see that. Now I'm just trying to smooth it out a little bit. I don't think I said thank you to the captain. Okay. I love hearing all like the popple, like the popping and the fizzing happening with this stuff. Okay. Making sure all my little feet are hitting the ground. Now, if I was going to spend more time, I would like perfect this a little bit more, but you do have to, when you're doing it live, you do have to kind of like find a cutoff. Let me switch this over so you can, I don't know if you can see that very well. Like a little bug. Okay, so I'm going to pause this. You guys stay there. I'll be back in just 1 second once it's in the oven. Okay, I'm back. And that's in the oven. Let me do a set timer for 10 minutes. We've got that going. And let's see. So now we have 10 minutes, or I have 10 minutes to sit here and fiddle and answer some questions. Do you guys have any questions while I sit here? I'm going to eat more of this whatchamacallit. Did you ever get your delivery? I think it's coming right now. It should be here shortly. I ordered it's hard to find like a really amazing vanity to get made up at. And I've kind of kept thinking like, this is going to be the vanity I get made up at. And then realizing like, no, the best vanity I ever had to get made up was at the California house. It was that white painted antique one. But I left it at the house. And so I've never had one that was really conducive for sitting at. So I found this amazing one online and I had it. It's on the way here. So would you ever visit Japan? Absolutely. I don't know a lot about it, so I would be very uninformed, but it would be lovely. Will you ever do a hair tutorial? Yes. I don't, I have a few ideas of how I would do that. I think it would be even more fun to do a tutorial on someone else of what I do to myself, because I'd be able to give kind of better instruction, because it's like behind my head if I'm trying to do it on myself. And it would probably, every time I see hair tutorials online where someone's doing it on themselves, it looks kind of messy and silly. So not every time, I shouldn't say every time, but a lot. So I don't want to, I would have more fun doing it on someone else. Where are the kitties? They're all upstairs because we have the dry ice going. We don't want to absolutely or accidentally hurt them. Next room you want to tackle? two rooms that are happening soon, well, within the next year. The bird room, which is, I call it the bird room because it's the room with the painted birds that one of the original daughters of this house hand painted. Below it is painted this unattractive shade of blue. And so I think the November episode, I'm not sure, don't hold me to this because we'll see how it goes. I think I'm going to just hand paint like a paper texture, like an aged paper texture onto the wall, and then do a simple like pattern. So it'll all be hand painted, but I just wanted to flow with what her painting is up on the top, and I wanted to sort of complement it and blend in. And so that I think is going to be the November episode at the moment, unless something changes. I'm hoping that's not going to be too complicated. I'm trying to I'm trying to take it a little bit easier for the next couple months because I've just been going, doing one thing after another. And then the next room is a massive priority for me. It's the sitting room. When you first come in, it's currently like a kind of sallow powdered blue, which I love powdered blue, but it just doesn't, it's so wrong in this room. And it was painted, they painted over wallpaper, I figured out. And it's ancient wallpaper. So I think I want to see what the wallpaper was because obviously if there's paint on it, I can't really see it. I was thinking of taking paint stripper in a corner to see if I could get enough of the paint off that I can make out the pattern and what the color was. I can't restore wallpaper that's been painted on, but if I can recreate what's there, I'd love to do that. So if anyone has a good suggestion on how to get paint off of wallpaper, let me know. I'm going to try paint stripper. I tried nail polish remover and didn't do anything. But if there's some sort of something I'm not thinking of, I'm all ears. Will you host Thanksgiving? The captive is going away on Thanksgiving, so I'm going to have my mom here, actually. So it's just going to be my mom and I having Thanksgiving here. What kind of paint is it? Heat might work. I did not even think about heat. It's ancient paint. I wouldn't think it was lead-based. They stopped using lead-based. This paint is at least from the 40s, 30s, somewhere around there, I think. So I don't know. I'd be a little apprehensive about heating it up. Would multi-strip work? I don't know what multi-strip is, so that's something I need to look up. What are your top 3 inspirations for interior design? Specific movies or designers or people? Honestly, I would, if I'm being totally honest, Dita Von Teese inspired me a ton. As far as she was like one of the first examples of people I saw that like her house just looks so spectacular. So that was a big one. Who else do I love? Because there's several people that I think are super, super fantastic at it. Let me think. I won't be able to think of their names. I'm drawing a blank. If I remember, I will tell you. But I do love old-fashioned Gothic-looking interiors that are somehow still sort of comfortable, which is really, really hard to pull off. I have yet to pull it off. I can make things look beautiful and nothing's comfortable. There's someone, what is her name? I can't think of her name. She currently does stuff. Gosh, I'm drawing a complete blank on it. Do you like modern style? Could you live in a modern home? I don't think I could. I think at where I am now, I don't feel comfortable in modern settings as far as like, I don't feel safe and cozy and happy. So I can go on vacations, and obviously your only options in most cases are to stay somewhere very modern where everything looks newer and there's state of the art stuff everywhere. Um, and I'm never really very comfortable. I don't feel like at home. So I don't think so. I don't think I ever would. Even if I had like a bunch of different houses, I would never have one that was styled in a modern way. So yeah, I do like technology though. Anywhere you can like keep it and hide it, I'm very happy to do. Have you been homesick for California? I've been homesick for my family, but not for California. I'm very this was the right move for me. So I just think there's just more fun things to do here. There's no traffic. There's no traffic. I mean, it's just it's a weird thing to be excited about, but I can't tell you how many times I have spent 4 hours in a car trying to get to the next. Um, and so there's never any of that here. Hmm. I want to see what everyone's projects are looking like. Oh my God, Suzanne sent me something. I love it. And let's go to the crafting or creating with Christine. Be terrible if I told you the wrong one. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, hold on. Okay, Taylor Mackenzie. I think I follow you. Yes, I do. Oh, those look so good. She made like cupcakes. Am I seeing that right? Oh my gosh, those look so good. Let's see what else we have here. I like the skull with the tiara. Oh, that's so great. I love that. I'm just gonna go through these. And someone did a raven with a necklace. I love it too. Oh, these are fantastic. Ooh. I love the fingernails. Those are terrific. Okay, this is very fun. This makes it feel like I'm hanging out with people. Oh, these are so good. Ooh, you made like a creepy book. Oh my God, I love the book. It's Fable. Oh my gosh. That's spectacular. So, so great. And I think I'm texting Suzanne, so let's see. Everything went dark and quiet. Can you guys still hear me? Let's see. I'm going to give that oven just another moment. Can you make a bat chandelier? I love that. That's a really good idea. I love things that are like something like that, where it has like an element of it where you don't see it instantly. It just looks like something grand and elegant and beautiful. And then once you actually start looking at it, you realize, oh, I'm looking at something really strange. Okay. I think I'm ready to pull this out of the oven. So I'm going to pause this again. So wait just one moment. Okay, I'm back. We're out of the oven. Those feel pretty good. So now, the fun part. We get to start attaching fur and painting. Assume it's pretty hot right now, actually. Maybe I'm jumping the gun on that just a touch. Kind of smells. What's your favorite vegan dinner? There's something called seitan, seitan, S-E-I-T. It's like some sort of protein fake meat. It's so good. I love anything with like salad, beans and rice. I'm trying to think of what else. I didn't think I was going to be able to live without cheese. And like once you stop eating cheese, it totally becomes like a normal, like you just like, I don't know, I never crave it anymore, ever. And so I just love something called a taco bowl that the Captive makes where there's like chips and things in it. And it's delicious. Would you ever do a how to decorate your Christmas tree episode? I would love to do that. I don't know that I would have anything so fascinating to bring to the table necessarily. That kind of burns me. Ah, I want to play with it, but it's like, it's all hot. There are amazing vegan cheese options. This is the problem. Some of them are really good. Some of them will scar you for life. Sometimes I think I've had like a couple of the really bad ones, and I have had really good ones before. But the bad ones are so bad sometimes that you're like, ah. It's so hard to find a good tree topper. That's why I like to make them. That's a Christmas tree episode would be really involved because you'd have to make a whole bunch of ornaments. Let's see. I can't get my little spider over there. I know I can hopefully move this out of the way. Buffalo cauliflower. Oh my gosh, the chef that came when Suzanne was here, he made something called cauliflower steak, and it was, oh my gosh, it's amazing. Okay, now the fun part. Let's get some of my pelts off of here. I think like the prettiest one. Pin cushion. You said you bet I could make my own vegan cheese from scratch. I think you are overestimating my abilities. Okay, I think I need to paint first. Let me get my clay out of the way because I'm done with clay. You have all been very fun. I'm done smelling you. It's like a weird little step under this table. Hopefully. That's good. Okay. So now, by the way, paints for crafting this folk art matte paint, it's the very best I've ever used of any kind. Hopefully it doesn't have they do. They always have these little like tabs. They don't spill out, but I always like mess up my fingernails working with them. Oh, okay. So you said you like I don't know how that's pronounced. CHAO cheese. That is really good. That's probably one of the smoked one that they do is really good. Have you ever gotten into polymer clay? That's what we're working with right here. Oh, the brooms. I saw, let's have a broom posting. You know, I made that broom the first year that we did pages that we started Patreon, and it went away. We gave it away. And now I think I need to make another one for like myself because every witch needs a good broom. So would you guys be annoyed seeing a new broom episode that would be different from the last one that I did? I won't make it out of zebra wood again. That was a challenge I will not be putting myself through again. Like I said, I always have such a hard time peeling these things off. Oh my gosh. They're supposed to be child safe, but I think they're also Christine safe. You would love a witch hat or cape episode. Done and done. I will do both of those. I'd be very happy to. I had a witch hat made for me by his name is Lord Blackwood on Instagram. And he's so fantastic at it. It's unbelievable. It would be kind of fun to like have him on an episode if he's all the way back in California. But if he could make one with me, like we could make it together. I have an idea for how I would make it, but I mean, he just makes them so great. It would be kind of interesting to get his input. This is how messy I am with these. This is not really the way you're supposed to do this. I don't know whose fingers these are designed for or how other people do this. But my gosh, do I ever struggle? Do you ever find yourself like in the shower and you're like trying to undo one of these? Like, awful. I mean, this is kind of working, so. Okay. That is, we'll put that down under things I could have done off camera. Okay, so to make this orange color, or what do I want to do first? I think I want to make the eyes white first. Kind of a little bit yellowish too. Don't want to go too white. I want it to look sort of real. Like if you take obviously white paint and put it up to the whites of your eyes, it's not going to look. Do you guys want to hear something crazy? I'm going to tell you something kind of crazy. I don't know. It may not be that interesting. I'm going to good mixing brush. I'm going to have an eye surgery in January. I have something called, it's called a pterygium, but it's spelled like PT some, it's a horribly long, weird word. And it happens to people that live in sunny climates. And I guess it happens usually when you're younger, like you don't, the damage is done when you're younger. And so anyway, I have one in like the inner corner here, and you don't see it when you're looking at me like physically. But it is something that has actually, yes, you've spelled it right. That's how you spell it. It's actually causing my vision to blur in this eye. And I can't really have that because I need my eyes. And it's not something you can fix with like glasses or anything like that. So I'm going to have to have a surgery, which hopefully won't be too horrifying. I'm going to have it done in California because that's where pterygiums are so common. It's because it's caused by like really sunny climates. So anyway, in the month of January, expect an episode where you only see hands and none of this. And if something goes horrendously wrong and I lose the eye altogether, which won't happen, I'm being overly dramatic. I'll just like work like a weird eye patch into like my everyday look. Does the blurring come and go, or is it always there? It's always there, and it's obnoxious. Okay, so, and I tell you guys this so you know what's kind of going on with that. And I had several ophthalmologists tell me you can't do anything about it, and that surgery is kind of like risky to have it messed with. And then I like did a bunch of more research, and apparently there are surgeons that like specialize in doing just this kind of a thing. It's really gross. If you want to like watch videos on YouTube, I like love stuff like that for some reason, like something's wrong with me. You guys want an eye patch tutorial? I could do that. Just painting the little eyes. Well, those are looking really cute. Okay, let me flip this over so you can. Got like a little bitty spider going on there. Oh, you said you hope the surgery goes well and I have a quick recovery. Thank you so much. I hope so too. It would be a real bummer to have it go badly. Okay, so now let's make a pupil. And this is going to be, it's the part that requires, I can't talk when I do this, otherwise I'm going to mess it up. Be cute looking. Maybe you'll end up with an eye that can see into the future. I can only see the future death of those you gaze upon. My gosh, that's asking for too much. I would just be happy if I could see clearly again. But I'll go with that if that's my only option. I need a little bit of water in here. This is going really well. Okay. I'm painting his little fangs black because that's usually how they are. Sometimes it's a dance where you like splotch the paint in the wrong place and you have to keep going like back and forth. I think I also need some paper towels. So hold on one second. I always like to like rinse my brushes off. Okay, so now I want to see if I can't match this orange color. So I can add a few like stripes. Let's see. I think I have all of those, but let's do a little bit more. A little bit too much of that. I think I'm struggling to make that color, but we'll see. It's pretty close. Okay, that's looking pretty close to. A little more red, I think. You want it to be exactly pumpkin colored if you can get it. Touch. And I'm just going to kind of create a few stripes. kind of actually starting to look like something. Just going around. The cool thing about this is if you look at real spiders, they're very kind of like imperfect looking. Or at least tarantulas are, I should say. And so it doesn't have to be like completely perfect in any which way. I should ask you guys, what are some of your favorite Halloween movies? And I'll look and I'll see if I can't see any that I'm absolutely in love with too. Or maybe even some that I haven't seen. Sleepy Hollow is amazing. Practical Magic. I almost watched that last night. That's a really, really good one. Addams Family Values, maybe the best movie ever made. And we need to make brown, and that is a combination of all the colors. Mostly. Almost. I kind of went green. Still working on it. That's really, you know, getting the color you want is, it's a process. When you're making brown, it's really a fun combination. Getting to the right, like red and yellow plays such a big role in that color. Okay. Apparently a lot of red is going to play a role. I'm going to make way more brown than I ever needed. It's starting to get there. Loved Watcher in the Woods. I don't think I've seen that. Okay. I want a really rich brown, so I think that's looking pretty bright to me. Oh, good. So I've kind of like loaded up that brush with way too much paint. Which, by the way, if you remember the beginning of the live stream, my nails looked nice. Now they're like a big gross mess. Which is why I never bother to like have my nails like professionally done, just because I do too many things that annihilate it. And I don't know, I have kind of a paranoia, like I don't really like being super close in the face to people. Okay, actually, needs more brown. That is why I love press-on nails. See, that's a good idea. I'm just kind of darkening up right now. I just realized that my face on this kind of looks like when Ursula the Sea Witch turns like King Triton into like a weird little sea squid kind of thing. Looks sort of similar to that. In The Little Mermaid, I should have. This is tedious. I kind of figured I wasn't going to be doing something terribly easy. Just going around, adding a little bit of dark chocolate color. It's funny how sloppy you can be and it still starts looking really neat, I think. It's looking really funny. Van Helsing is really good. The fun thing about this paint too is it dries very, very quickly. So if you kind of mess something up, you can very shortly go over it and make it look a little bit better. I've got a dog that thinks somebody's here when they're not. You can tell how vicious she is. Okay, this is starting to look fun. Maybe I can switch this over and show you what his little face is looking like. I don't know, can you guys see that? It's just a little thing. I think I want little black toes on this one. Okay. Let dry a little bit. And then I'm gonna add some fur onto it. And then I think it should be done. And it's just like a fun little silly thing to like have around the house. Okay, so let's see. Got my hot glue gun. Ready to go, hopefully. Just gonna cut. They've gotten so good with these like synthetic fur things. It's gonna be really cute. Oh, Krampus is a great movie. I love that one. Okay, so I'm going to. What am I doing? I think I'm going to, I should say. Put a little bit of glue down at the base, right behind those eyes. And see if I can't squish down. Okay, let's see if I can't squish down this fur. Oh gosh. Gonna be a little bit of a scraggly looking guy with some like Einstein looking hair. Okay. Let's see if I can add little like chunks of fur to his little legs. You could name the spider Patch like Pumpkin Patch. Okay. That Sam came up with that? That is his name, Patch. I love that so much I can't even tell you. Oh my gosh. Thank you. That was kind of ingenious. So the spider has a name. His name is Patch. Now I'm just adding little chunks and bits. Getting really fun looking. Anyone who's ever like burned themselves really good with a hot glue gun knows you have to be very, very careful with them. It's getting really fun looking now. Ever thought of doing something over the garden wall themed? I don't know what over the garden wall is. Is that a book or a movie? We need a little bit more fur. Were you guys talking about burning yourself with a hot glue gun? It's awful. I have burned myself with hot caramel, like hot glue gun burns are just one of the absolute worst. They're horribly painful. Now we're back in business. You use the overhead camera. Yes. So I'm just going around adding little bits of fur to all of the important places. And if you find that maybe the fur is too long in a certain place, you can always give it a haircut. He's a scraggly looking little thing. Look at him. Patch says hi, everybody. Hi. I wish he could like come to life and like talk to us. And now you can go through, just add a few pops of color wherever you feel like they're warranted. Maybe we should give him some little furry feet. Don't tarantulas have kind of like fuzzy little feet? Ooh, that's actually, I think that's a good. Oh, see, got myself. I pretty much always do when I operate one of these things. Little bit right there. I did a Halloween decoration on my parents' house. The last one I did. So in 2018. And there was a lot of hot glue involved in that. And it's a wonder I survived that whole ordeal because that was very intense. And I think I got myself pretty good just now. How many sticks of glue? Not too many. Oh, wait, are we talking about my parents' house or this right now? Just one on this, but on my parents' house, that's anybody's guess. It was a lot. Okay. I think we are coming pretty close here. Of course, I gotta trim along this little bit. I know I've gotten really quiet. I hope that's okay. I get really focused when it comes It's getting close to the finish line. I'm going to, I know I had, there we go. Some hairspray. There we go. Just want to make those nice and tidy. Okay. I feel like he is really fun looking. Let me set this over here to clear off this area just a little bit. Now, obviously, this is not as perfect as like a many hours long project, but for like a fun little silly project, I feel like he's pretty cute. Let me show you. So this is Patch from all of these angles. And I think we can clip off his little base, I hope, I should say. So he's just a little guy. Patch says hi. Oh my gosh, he's really cute. I love that name so much. I can't even tell you. Okay, well, Patch says happy Halloween, and I will be back before the end, before Halloween, with the October episode. You're gonna love it. It's a really good one. So stay tuned. Thank you guys so much for like tuning in for this whole thing. I think our dry ice is looking pretty funny now. So have a very lovely week, and you will see me again very soon.